channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is www.black-duck.com. The video is Remove Method. If you think back to Substring Start, we were able to extract a substring from a larger string. The remove method allows us to remove a substring from a larger string, leaving us with whatever's left. So, remove is like insert in that it affects the existing string. We don't need another variable. We just change the contents of our string. In this video, I have an example of a list of movies. The original list was in a spreadsheet. I extracted the contents to a text file. And for this example, I took the first record and pasted it into an application. Now, the record contained the movie name, the year, the CD it's located on, and the position of that CD. Most of that I don't want. I think there are a few other things as well on there, but all I want is the movie name. I want to remove everything else. That's where the remove method comes into play. Take a look. Got a few more tools to cover in text processing, and they're quite powerful. There's only a few more to go. Actually, we're going to do some removing stuff right now. And I want to show the remove method. Later on, we'll take a look at trim. But right now, we're going to look at the remove method. And if you look on the screen right now, you can see the remove has a start parameter in it. So you can basically take your string variable, point at the place where you want it to remove everything after that, and just put that number in, and bang, it's all gone. The other thing you can do is we've got the remove start count method, where you can go to a starting position in your string and remove a certain number of characters in there. And I'm going to demonstrate this how this all works here for you. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we've got an application up here. I'm going to shorten the form a little bit. Maybe not that much. Then I want to bring up my toolbox too, because we're going to be using that. So let's view the toolbox. And there it is. The other thing I want to do, I want to take a look at some text files. I've got a text file like this. It looks like movies first, and I don't want to use the entire file. We'll use that in an application later. But I'd like to bring this first record in, as you can see we've got right here, and I'd like to extract everything. The thing to note about this is actually we know how many characters there are in all of these movies. Or do we? It looks like some of them that get larger than ever. So we'll have to, if we knew the position of the thing, or how long it actually was, we could state that position on here and then delete everything after. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make an assumption here. So let's go ahead and build our application. I'm going to do something very quick. I'm simply going to we can put a label up there, I guess. We could do that. And this label is going to be auto size false on here, and we'll give it a border style of fixed single, and we'll stretch it out. And I'm going to leave it left justified here, and I'm going to call it label input, LBL input. In this thing, I'm going to go ahead down on the bottom here, and I'm going to take the text here, text alignment, and make that to the left, to the middle left is what we're going to be able to do right here. And then I want to take the text itself and go ahead and drop it down here, and I'm going to grab this from this file I've got here, the first record. I'm going to do a Control-C, and then bring it right in here and drop it into this text box right here, and it's going to be called Zombies on Broadway, a Z, Fit 151, and so on. Hit enter on that thing, and that's going to pop up in here so we can see it. Let's make that font bigger too right away, as long as we're here. It'd be nice to be able to see this thing. Make it bold, make it, let's say 10 will be fine. There it is, Zombies on Broadway, and it's got a bunch of stuff. It looks like it's concatenating everything. Even the way it spaces in there, because of the text I'm using here, you're not seeing any of that stuff. You're seeing all the spaces are gone. But if you look down here, you can see that I've got, actually right on you look on the text area here, you can see that this whole text box is showing the spaces we've got in this particular record. So based on the font I've grabbed here, it's concatenating or squishing everything together so we can't actually see it. We can work with this either way. We could put in a good font that would show us these spaces, or we can forget about it. And we can forget about it now because our Zombies on Broadway are in the very, very first position. We want to basically actually count the number of characters we've got here and get rid of everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another label. Let's just copy this one right away and put it down below here. We're going to get rid of the text in here, in the second one. That makes it blank. Good. And we're going to put a process button in here right away. I'll call it button process, BTN process. Did I call these labels anything? Well, let's finish this button first here. And we'll call it process. And I'm going to change the font of this too so it matches everything else. make it bold, make it a 10, and then size it up a little bit so it looks like that. I'm going to format everything so that align the centers on all these things, and then I'm going to center this on the form horizontally, and then just close up my form. I'm not going to put an exit button here because we're just using this for demo purposes. But right now I've got basically this guy right here, which is my label out. It's going to be. We'll call this LBL out. LBL OUT. And we're going to call this one label input. That's what we have on here. So we're all set to go on this thing. Now what we want to do, we want to process, we want to basically extract or cut off, remove everything that's after this thing, and then bring that remainder down below here. So we're going to do that. Go to my process button right here, and I'm going to say, well, let's make it a string variable. Let's create string str my text, and leave it at that. Then I'm going to go ahead and say that I want str my text to be equal to lbl input.text. That's going to bring in everything from that label into string my text. Then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to actually leave a space here, and I'm going to say here this. Let's remove data. Now, how much data am I going to be removing? Let's go back and look at that form. We need to count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19. It looks like 19. Do we count the 0 or we count the 1? 19. Let's find out. We're going to start at 0 and count 19 out. So let's go ahead to our process button again. And let's go ahead and put this in. And we're going to say, using our format, we're going to say that remove 19, string text remove 19. Now, is this all I need? Let's go down here and put in our LBL output.text is equal to string my text and see what happens. So we'll do a file save. And we'll do a run. There's our program, and it's showing our data up on top here. And if I hit this process button, what's going to happen? Bang. It brings everything in. It brings in string my text. Why is that? Probably because we didn't make it equal to what we want it to be made equal to. So let's go ahead and click out of this thing. And let's go in here and say our string my text is equal to str my text is equal to string my text remove at. There. Now let's give it a shot. File save. Start. Hit our process button. Bang, it did it. Notice what it did. It basically took our label in, put it into the string my text, and then we asked it to take string my text and remove it at 19 and make it equal to whatever string my text is. Then we took that string my text and put it into the label, and there we got it. It removed exactly what we wanted to do, and we had no problems whatsoever. Now, let's take a look at one other example we could actually have here. If we looked at that second example on our slides, the remove start count, we could remove basically a series of characters from here and then remove them out. So let's take a look at this. I want to actually go back to my files again. I had movie first here. I've got movie last, I think, is in here someplace. Right here, I think it is. Bring that thing up. Here it is. Movies last here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to move all this stuff in front of what we've got here. We can do this whole file in an application later, but let's just try it with something like this. I'm going to take that same program I've got here, and let's go to the back of this thing and take a look at our formatting. I'm going to take this movie here, and I'm going to actually change the value on this thing to be something different. We're going to get rid of what we got in here, and instead we're going to be putting in Zombies on Broadway, starting with some of this other gibberish that's sitting in here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll jump in here and go in here and just replace this with this bunch of stuff on here, and then hit enter, and Zombies on Broadway will be in the back end. Again, we need to know the position we're on. So if you've got files that are very, very different, you may have to count each variable to find out where that last space is or what you actually want here. But in this case, we know where we want to go. So we're looking at, or do we know where we want to go? We need to, actually, this is kind of interesting because we don't know where we want to go because of all those blanks in here. We actually need to actually be able to count this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and put dots in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this file here, And I'm going to get out the tabs, and I want to be able to see what I've actually got here. So I'm going to go ahead and tab this out so I can see how many positions I've actually got in here, which is kind of an ugly way of doing this. But when we're working with a file, not just one character, this will make some sense. Of course, I could look for tabs too and all that, but we want to work with just the characters right now. Let's see what we've actually got here. So we're looking at, let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. 41, maybe 42 if I didn't count right. But let's pump that down. I'm going to write that down, 41. So I've got an idea of where I happen to be on this thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this thing away. I'm going to leave this the way it is because we know that those spaces are still in there. They are part of that the text here. So we're going to go to our process button here. We're going to change this a little bit. We're going to change this to remove at 19, starting 19, for a count of, actually we're going to change this to 0, 0, for a count of 41. That's going to allow us to drag all that stuff out of there, and all we should get is the movie itself left. We should get rid of all that stuff. So let's go ahead and try this. File, save as, save all, start. And if we didn't do any screw-ups in my counting, we should be okay. I'll hit process. And we bombed out. Why did we bomb out here? My text removed 0, 41. Out of range, index and count must refer to a location within the string. So it doesn't like this 0 and 41. So let's change this. We need to enter our debug here. Is it 1? No, it's not. It doesn't like what we've got here. So maybe it is actually copying the spaces being dropped here, that the font is actually dropping those spaces. So let's do this. Let's go back to our form. Let's copy in all those dots we've got there and bring that in. Then we know we've got 41. We've got 41 characters in that thing. So instead of all these spaces, apparently it's dropping the spaces in here. So let's do that. We'll go ahead and grab Zombies on Broadway with all the dots in there, lay it in like this, and now we've got our dots sitting in there. Now let's try and process this. We'll do a file save and run. Process, Zombies on Broadway, but it missed the 0. It looked to miss the Z, so I've got one too many in there. So let's go ahead and modify that real quickly. Go to our process button, and we want to go from 40. Change that. File save, run, process. Zombies on Broadway is showing up. So we learned something here as well. I learned something here as well. When you're working with these different fonts, although all of the spaces are there, the label with the font characteristics it's using is actually truncating all those spaces and just bringing them in and concatenating them together so that we've got one solid string there. So making short, I would have actually had to count everything I was looking at here without those dots in there. We could easily do that. We can go back to this thing and we have Oxford, Yank and Oxford right here. Control C. I'm going to grab that and bring that in and go down to our label here. And in the case of this one, we've got a bunch of spaces in here. When I hit enter on this thing, it's going to truncate it all. So if we count these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 in there. We go ahead and change this thing now to starting at 0 for 11. We should be fine. Process. We need 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If for some reason it's actually grabbing the 1938 out of there too. So let's go ahead and figure that one out. Going back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what it's doing? It's also counting the tabs. Those are tabs, not spaces in here. That's what's going on here. These are tabs. So if we need to go in and change this, we'll go in here and add 4 tabs to this thing. So we'll go to our process button and we'll add 15. Do a file save. Start. Process. Now it's looking good. Yank at Oxford A. So what's happening there is in our text file, we weren't bringing in text with bring it down here. We weren't bringing in text with spaces in between. These are tabs. That's why when I hit my cursor right here and back up one, it's gone. It's getting rid of a tab in each case. So that's what I was actually looking at. So we didn't see that. So knowing that the tabs are there is going to be where our differences were when we're actually trying to process the thing. So we learned something from this thing. But given that, you can see that the ability, let's not save that, the ability to be able to find a position in your text file and remove everything from a certain area or removing everything after a certain area to give you this is going to be some functionality you can actually use. So we'll look at trim next. So this is just another great tool for working with text. We just got a few more to go through, and then we'll put some applications together that will make use of many of our text tools. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance, and please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.